The fastest way to add a title on top of a video clip inside of DaVinci Resolve 21 is just to place your cursor, your playhead, above the clip that you want to add the title, hit X for X marks the spot, and that gives you an automatic in point and out point, which is going to restrict the range to specifically that portion for when you add the title. Now to add the title, I'm going to use the Shift-Spacebar command to do that. Basically, you hold Shift, you tap spacebar, and every effect you have in DaVinci Resolve is available for you to add to a clip, or if it's a generated thing like a title, it'll place it above. I'm going to type in text, T-E-X-T, with the plus symbol for text plus, hit return, and it adds it directly down there to that range on your timeline. But the problem with this, for most of us, if we want to work really, really quickly, is it sets a default font in Text Plus to Open Sans and semi-bold, and that's because it works on Linux and Mac and Windows, and it's just always on those systems. But for most of us, we have a custom font we want to use. Personally, I've been using pop-ins a lot lately, so I'm going to show you how you can set pop-ins to be the title effect that we add on with Shift Space. So to add a custom default font preset, you don't actually need to know Fusion at all. If you can right click, you can do this. All we're going to do is in the inspector, change the font here to something custom like pop-ins, and I'll change this to, that's just pop-ins semi-bold. I'll make this pop-ins black. And if you wanted to, you could fill out the text box here, but personally, I'm just gonna leave this blank so that I know I need to fill it out. I know this is pop-ins. You could set the size defaults here before we save this out. All you need to do though, is I'm gonna hit the little magic fairy dust thing that takes us into the Fusion page to save this out as a new template. All that we need to do here is just right click on the word, the node down here that says template. We right click on it, we go to settings, and then we come down here to save as, that's what we want to do. And once we do settings, save as, we just need to save this with a new name that we can identify with Shift Space and place it in the correct folder. The folder it needs to go into is basically just one outside of where it's going to take you automatically. It's going to take you to the DaVinci Resolve Fusion settings folder. That's not where we want it to go. We want it to go into the templates folder inside the edit folder, which everything inside the edit folder here is available in the effects palette on the edit page. And we want to set it inside a folder in here called titles. Now, if titles doesn't exist, just create a folder called titles. If you want to organize it further, you can by putting like a company name or something. I'm just going to leave it on the outside. We'll keep it really nice and simple. I'll change the name to not be template. I'll call it something that makes sense, like pop-ins black. So I'll just change this to pop-ins _ black. Hit return, and now that has been saved into that location, which actually means it should be available right away on the edit page. If I just come over to titles and I search for the magnifying glass for pop-ins black, it's right here, it's ready to go. It's not the correct duration, and you just noticed there as my in and out points, but it's got the type set up. Now it does not work with Shift Space bar quite yet, so if I type Shift Space, it's not existing, but all I need to do to get this to work is just to save and close Resolve, and then any project on the same machine is going to have access to that. So as Resolve closes and it opens up again, it's sort of re-indexing all the tools that are in there so it can serve those to me with the Shift Spacebar command. Let's open it up, give it a second. Instead of all the titles that are on here now, we'll come back to the beginning. Maybe I'll use my my editor keyboard here. X marks the spot, Shift Spacebar, searching now for pop-ins black, hit return, and what do we know? We have pop-ins black as our default. Now the other nice thing about the Shift Spacebar command, if you hadn't picked up on this quite yet, is if I want to do this again later on, Shift Spacebar, it has a history. It has already remembered what the last 6 items I've chosen, so I don't even need to type it in again. If you're doing lots of these titles across the timeline, all I would need to do is hit the down arrow on the keyboard, hit return, and look at this. I got another pop-ins black ready to have text filled out, and that's all there is to it. Hey, I am so glad you're here with me today. My name is Chadwick. I'm a DaVinci Resolve Master Trainer and finishing artist based here in New York. I teach all things about DaVinci Resolve, and because there's so much more to learn, I'll see you in the next video.